L4, where we are going to test the complete systems, or it's also called as functional performance testing. Now, here the major shift here is from equipment, individual equipment, or UPS, or transformer, or DG, to a system. So you are testing in the L3 a UPS unit itself, whereas here you are testing the entire system, that is the UPS, its controls, its alarms, its integration, and everything. And what is the key is failure mode testing. What I mentioned earlier, right? How to ensure that fault tolerant architecture of a data center is working. This is the stage when the actual fault tolerant architecture is subjected to extensive testing. So we deliberately will create failure conditions and verify that the systems are responding accurately. Example, if I would take a UPS, L4 test for UPS, you will simulate the utility failure, right? AC input failure will simulate. At that time, the UPS should transfer to the battery seamlessly, most important. Second, you simulate the AC input return, that is the utility का return आप simulate करते हो, UPS ने retransfer correctly होना चाहिए. Third is you will reduce the battery voltage, for example, and the low battery alarm should get triggered. Then you will apply an overload. Load shedding sequence should get activated. Then you will simulate an internal fault in the UPS. So the static bypass should engage. So this is what you are typically doing inside an L4 stage for understanding whether each of these systems are behaving as per their specific failure modes for which they have been designed to operate. Next is that we are going to also be checking the EPMS, BMS, SCADA integration. Right? Each alarm must appear in the monitoring system. That is very important. Your alarm text, your correct severity of the alarm, your correct equipment ID, all of these have to be appearing in the EPMS screens. And this is often the most common place where issues are found. Communication errors are there, point-to-point checks fail over here, your mapping of the points are done wrongly, and so on. Then you go to the sequence of operations. That's the document which you prepare at this stage, where you are validating that the overall system is operating as per how it should behave. So it validates whether the system is operating as per the sequence of operations script which has been defined earlier. So here any deviation must be documented and resolved. Now some common L4 issues which I mentioned, like alarms are not appearing in the EPMS, wrong severity, control sequence is not matching the sequence of operation, communication timeouts are happening. All of these can be common issues that you can expect during the L4. And hence, now what is the blue tag criteria or the L4 criteria is that your failure modes are assessed, alarms are verified, control sequence validated, system is now ready for integration testing. That is your IST or the final stage in the data center testing and commissioning. So once all the systems are blue tagged, we are ready for the final level, that is the IST.